We got ourselves team 1 together with Akar as a Shadow Priest Orc. Normal Orc? It is a normal Orc. We got ourselves Ari going to be first up as Unholy Death that charge it out. Seaverk in the back of the team. We got ourselves Leroy. We got ourselves Zarkanis as an Evoker. We also got an Evoker for the other team with Latha coming back in. Lath together with Billy. We got ourselves Taxi. We got ourselves On Who? And Abrul Min as a Feral Druid. On Who is playing the Boom Kid, tried to go for the Vigil, got him some moons firing off against the pets, but Ari just trying to see if he can just tank it up with an AMS. On Who trying to see if he can waddle over towards a spell, or not spell ward him, but the Starburst, but it's actually kind of low on health. It's gonna go for a disarm to Ari. Needs himself as much healing as possible. Does he have any more tricks behind the save? Trying to go for a Kavoke, shifting out of form just to give himself as much healing as possible. Does recover a little bit, and Ari so far just hasn't felt at anything from On Who at all. Is he still playing that Apocalypse build? Are you still summoning more Maguses? You 100% are. It's a bit of a slow burner build, but once you get some Maguses in it, it's so strong. Does get it landed, an interrupt on our nature, and that's gonna be a quick stun onto the Boomkin. Tried his very best. Nature's Vigil was quite good, I think, for healing, especially since he got all those dots on the pets as well. That's actually quite a bit of extra damage. But Tags is going to be up next, trying to see if he might be able to bout versus Ari. Got himself an AMS available if he needs to. IBF and everything available. Tags is trying to go for a little bit of a UA, as well as a Hunt, trying to maximize the dots. He got a Singularity onto Ari as he summoned up even more Maguses. He got himself a little army of wizards. Big drain line, but Taxi trying to see if he can break through absorbs of Ari. Does he get any more survivability? He may need to wall, got himself Soul Burn as well as a Hellstone to give himself huge recovery, trying to dodge any kind of interrupts by Ari. No interrupts available for Death for a second. Does get the stun with the Drain Life, recovering a ton of health. Going to be a stun as the Mages are continuing to pelt them. Human Racial for Taxi to break out of that stun. And Ari is just continuing to get his own undead army, trying to see if he could build up an army of wizards. As Taxi with the wall, going for the Hunt, might be able to get enough dot damage into Ari. Does have the AMS in order to prevent a lot of the dots from rotting him, as well as the Drain Life from healing Taxi. Has an interrupt available, and just continuing to spawn the Necrolordy, the undead, the army build. Still, as you can see, highly effective. Kirax did something different yesterday, and Billy's gonna be up next, just having to deal with all those Maguses as Ari looking to back up out of there, trying to take the pet behind the pillar and actually using the pet in order to build himself up a little bit of army. Blind onto Billy, does go for the trinket, trying to go for Shadow Bolts as an AMS is up for Ari together with an AMZ on top of it. Billy managed to get himself a full entire army. Actually, quite a lot of his pets going through all of the defenses of Ari. He got AMS, he got Spellboard, which is great against magic damage, but these double Fel Guards are just absolutely tearing him apart. Got himself a Shadow Breath? I forget what it's called. Wait, hold on. It's like a Breath, but it's like a shadow version for Warlocks that gets a slow. Billy actually kind of low on health, could be in big trouble. Got Ari super low. Ari's actually turning around with all of those Maguses. And Lath Voker is going to be up next. Got himself Disintegrate, big Fire Breath into Ari, but did have AMS available. Lath got himself Immunity from NECC from Ari. Tried to see if he can maybe go for the big Dragon Strike from above. Attaching a Disintegrate to Ari. This needs a little bit more damage. Ari got himself that IBF. And Lath Voker just got to get line aside of the guy for just a quick second, looking for a little bit of recovery. Trying to go for flames while he's got movement. Going to be a stun as Lath tried to see if he can get some damage in. Disintegrate trying not to get interrupted. Is going to be a kick. He's able to get himself some red spells though. That's a blue interrupt, but can't go for red spells. Got himself an immunity for a second, froze himself for a moment. Trying to go for maybe a sleepwalk. That is going to be CC onto Ari. Is able to break out of it, I believe, with a Lichborn. As Lath, does he have any more survivability? Trying to go for as much self-healing as possible, but I think Ari may just have him pressured, and is going to get himself yet another army of the dead mages jumping in. As Abrulman. It's like a bull, but Abrulman. Yeah, that'll make it easy for me to remember. This is going to be up next as a Feral Druid. Ari's just got himself the army of the wizards. All these undead Maguses. It's Harry Potter squad, man. The whole Hogwarts is getting summoned up from the Nexus. Are you kidding me? Nexramus literally walked into the arena here. Stun into a Brule, maybe in a bit spot. Trying to get some bleeds. Big damage into Ari. Oh, he does get him down and actually survives it. He does live it, but oh my god, Akara is just not gonna let it happen. Just walks in, doesn't give the boy a chance to recover. Hits him with a DP, Shadow Word Death, taking him out. And Ari, wait, Ari got the kill for that one. I think as the Shadow Priest walked in trying to kill the Feral, he didn't kill him. He got him low. But whatever diseases, whatever Daza was still on the Feral, that's what's killed him. So in a sense, Ahri does get the kill, but also not really. We got a car over for the team one. We got Ahri, Seavark, Leroy, and Zarkanis gonna be first up, trying to go for a bit of a sleep onto Lathvoker. We got ourselves an Evoker winning tonight. Lath trying to see if he can back up out of there. Gonna be Zarkanis going in for big damage. Doesn't get a stun onto Lath, looking for a bit of recovery of his own. As is going to be disintegrate out of Lath, trying to go for Turtle Surge, Big Damie, trying to see if he can maybe burst him down, as is going to be both of the Evokers blasting each other. Sleepwalk as the other one stuns him with the Dragon's Breath. That's going to be Sleepwalk out of Lath. Walker does get himself a little bit of recovery. And is looking to get himself fully healed up as best as he can. Nullifying Shroud, trying to get himself some CC reduction. Zarkon is getting interrupted. Does Lathwalker, is he immune to interrupts? He isn't. He can still get interrupted. He just immune to CC. Does get a big blast onto the other Evoker. He does get a pretty big blast on, who was the other guy actually? On Zarkanis. Actually did quite well. Gonna be a quick word onto Leroy, as Leroy does have a demon attacking him, which is gonna end up breaking him out of CC. Trying to go for a little bit of a hunt. As Zarkanis, Lathwoker. I get Zarkanis and Lathwoker's names completely mixed up, by the way. I'm just overwhelmed by the fact there's two Evokers trying to figure out what abilities they're using. But Lath tried to see if he can maybe round the bend. It looks like maybe it was out of mobility. And Leroy just got the angle on him. Quick hunt, body him down. Leroy picking up the Demon Soul. Does grant him 20% more damage. Trying to see if he can maybe slow down a Brule. Catches him out of cat form. Look at you maybe punish him out of that form with a wall for a Brule. Does give himself quite a bit of defense. Look at you maybe push in onto Leroy. Got himself the swarm. So he's looking to put in some strong dots on Leroy. Leroy sounds on him. A Brule could go into bear form if he needs some healing. That's exactly what he's going to do. Looking for recovery as he does get crit pretty hard by Leroy. Leroy so far has got him on the ropes. A Brule definitely is looking for a bit of that recovery. At some point does need to establish some kind of a dominance. So Leroy needs to get stunned up. Trinkets 4 out of it. A Brule does get himself a little bit of self-heal. Stun. No trinket for the Feral Druid with a slice out of Leroy, taking him out. Only so much you can really do. Taxi is able to get himself insta-cast Gateway. That's actually so good. Imagine in PvP you just set up insta-cast Gateway with that Soul Bird. That's going to be fantastic. Leroy taking a little bit of damage from those dots, but definitely dishing out a lot more towards Taxi. Taxi does get himself some cooldowns rolling, I think with a Battle Match Trinket, looking for the Drain Life versus Leroy. Got himself a little bit of a shield, and looks like he was maybe able to get himself a shield based on the Drain Life healing. So I think a Soul Burn Drain Life is what builds you up a shield, which for Taxi could be quite good. Leroy does end up continuing to cleave towards Saxy as the Warlock is looking to back up out of them, maybe looking for a port, trying to separate from Leroy. Does get interrupted. There goes the gateway. Leroy catches up with him momentarily, hits him with Prism. And that's going to be yet another drain by Taxi. Leroy actually dropping on Darkness. That's going to be a demon spawning in. Can't slay it. Does end up killing it. That's going to be a Mortal Coil as Taxi just trying to see if he can pull the Demon Hunter away from the Demonic Soul. Leroy brocking an item just to get the extra Demon Hunter spouting Fell Dev at Taxi so he can just soul break him afterwards. Just got free damage rolling in while he continues bursting. There goes the entire Metamorphosis. There goes the big cooldown. Leroy has that leech, has the survivability, has the big damage ready for a moment. Does get a quick interrupt onto Taxi. And Taxi does recover a ton of health in just a second. I think that was a Soulborn Warlock Hellstone just now. Definitely needs to go for some more Drain Lives. That's going to be in prison with a Silence attempt. Does get a stun to Taxi with extra Silence. Leroy taking a bit of damage. Does have fun. Maybe can use that leech in order to catch up on health. Stun to Taxi. Got drained. Interrupted. Maybe in a bad spot. It looks like Leroy does end up taking him out. With that hunt, was able just to maximize the damage. Get even more leech out of Taxi. Got super hyper aggressive with Taxi. Just so he can get even more healing. Leroy soul breaking on who does get Cleveland down. Big crits, absolutely just wrecked the boy. Bash on Leroy does burn a trigger for it. On who playing it very, very defensively. Thorns, Barkskin, got himself a couple of fairies spawning in. That's going to add a little bit more dam. Got himself a demon right behind the pillar. Is going to back up for a second on who activated Starfall. But I think he still needs a line of sight of Leroy in order to get Starfall damage maximization, doesn't he? Big incarnation available for Anhu. Trying to see if we can blast out Leroy. Collecting a couple of the starbursts as Leroy looking to close the gap. Does go for the sun. Knocked up in the air. Trying to go for big soul. Oh my god, that crit. He's got to be playing a crit build, right? Cal is going to be up next as a Fury Warrior. This is the only man left standing between Leroy and Victory. Trying to see if we can disarm the Demon Hunter. DH has the glaives. It's interesting how Demon Hunter get disarmed, but they still throw a glaive. Like, what are you throwing? Leroy trying to see if he can back up out of the spear. Cal trinkets out of that stun. Gonna be Metamorphosis together with Hunt. So Leroy got himself plenty of tankiness. Can just stay super aggressive with Cal and get as much healing and as much damage out of him as possible. Trying to go for the soul break. Cal got him some defenses, trying to see if he can get counter aggressive. As this Fury Warrior is just fighting through the pain, fighting through the chaos, fighting through the damage. Stuns Leroy, leaping on top of him. Does he get the execute? Does he get it right here? Leroy actually with no help whatsoever does get himself a lucky demon kill. Recovers all the health back. Cal might be in a tight spot right now. Does he have any much survivability? And Leroy does end up taking him out. He got the luckiest, I swear to God, the luckiest demon spawn just now. That was incredible. 5-0 by Leroy. Not surprising, honestly. Demon Hunters are in. I do want to know if you ran a